You already heard what people are saying on the streets, their divergent view with regards to the new minimum wage or the minimum wage negotiation, and also how some people's salah went, how things are expensive in the market, or at some point, some people say they are cheap. But then it is what it is. Welcome back to the press. We're reaching you live from KAFTAN's television studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. My guest on the show this morning is Obadiah Mbila, who is the CEO of Lovewalk Media. Great to have you on the show this morning, sir.
Thank you so very much. Baraka de Salah, my Muslim Ummah everywhere in Nigeria and beyond. It's been a wonderful Salah celebration, although we cried that there was no money or there's no money. But I still discovered that deep in the heart of every Muslim was the desire to make sure that all that Salah required was met. And glad to know that the celebration has spillovers from yesterday to today and then continues.
Continues, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. Again, this Salah afforded us a new hope that the Muslim Ummah and the Christian community had their sacred day or Sunday, you know. It has, it's remarkable.
Remarkable.
I think it also draw our attention to the fact that the God we are serving is one. And although you may be serving from seeing things from different perspectives, he remains one God.
He remains one God.
Congratulations once again.
Mbila, those words that you said actually brought goosebumps right around my skin, because I just remembered. I was talking about it when I was reading some of the headlines, where I remembered where we're growing up in Lagos. You don't need to ask anybody, will you kill ram? Should we come and eat meat? You will just stay in your house, JJ, and they will bring meat to you. Whether you want to eat or not, whether you ask or not, they will definitely knock at your door and bring food and meat to you. Yes. But these days, Christians, Muslims, even the Sheshe worshippers, we just believe, let's just keep it to ourselves. It's not like what we have before. I see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu saying during the Eid-El at her service yesterday, he says Nigeria needs sacrificing citizens. And then you have quite a number of things that, okay, the other one here, he says that he's calling for love, for charity to the vulnerable, and for unity. And when he said that word, I just remember the fact that why are we here? At what point did we get to this point, where we are at the moment, where I'm killing the ram or the goat and I just want to share it between my Muslim brothers and sisters alone? We don't look at the other people. At what point did Nigeria get so divided to this extent? Mbila?
Yeah, Annabel, you see, the most unfortunate administration we've had in the history of the development of this country occurred in the last 8 years. It became so clear that that administration did not want to unite all the diverse people's group in Nigeria. It appeared that
the last 8 years, that's former President Muhammadu Buhari?
You called his name. The truth remains that when a leader who's supposed to be father of all began to narrow his vision about fatherhood to favor one single tiny group of people, and you are perceived as caring less about the economy that is under your watch as it goes down, you never took any action to redirect the economic order. Rather, you watched it go down, and probably by your inaction aided the nosediving of the economy. But that's not really where this division comes from. When you are a father and you are perceived as supporting a tiny group to kill, maim, kidnap other groups, you have sown a seed of discord that makes it difficult for this group to see themselves again as one. We have traced so many evil that come. They may be there before the coming of the president, Muhammadu Buhari, but it appears instead of seeking for ways to bring down the tension went to a crescendo during your reign. We realized that the herders that have been passing through our neighborhood are also killers. We didn't know them as killers. We knew they were herders. The worst was that their cow could go into a farm, destroy things, and then it will be sorted out amicably. But under his watch, if the cows go into any farm to destroy things, they see it as, what do you want them to do? They should feed first. They should allow them to eat. To eat what human beings should consume and live. So it didn't mean anything to them. Benue State went down. Southern Kaduna went down. The entire Southeast was infiltrated by what has now become the unknown gunmen. The democratic structure of Imo State was destroyed overnight through a Supreme Court judgment that was superintended by an administration. So for me, we need a healer to come to the sacred sanctuary of Aso Villa. Otherwise, if this polarization continues, we will come to a time when we see ourselves as enemy instead of brother. Not even the changing of national anthem will bring the healing, because you are dealing with human beings that perceives, that feels, that are seeing things that are happening, that they are going from being a middle class country to a very poor, undescribable poverty. So we need a rechanneling, a reorientation of the people, a reassurance that, look, we know it's gone bad, but there's hope at the end of the tunnel. Otherwise, anything that this administration that succeeded the Buhari administration do that would up the practice of nepotism, dictatorialism, and so on, it will worsen the fabrics of the society that is called Nigeria. All right,
Obadiah Mbila, you've actually made quite a number of statements, and we're going to draw strings from. In fact, if we don't even need to touch on the newspaper headlines, but with all that you said, we can actually draw strings from all that you've stated. If you go to the Punch newspaper, it says Salah celebration, Tinubu, Buhari, Sultan can prefer solution to hardship. President urges citizens to share with one another, but then Buhari seeks return to farms. That's the same Buhari that you just talked about. He said we should return back to our farms. And if you go to the market, 3 pieces of tomato now sells for 1,000 naira. 1 dustbin basket of pepper sells for as far as 20,000 to 25,000, depending on the markets that you're going to. And that's the same pepper I remember I used to buy for 2,000, 4,000 a few months ago, this same year, or late last year. He just began to wonder, it is, and now I've left the parts where we are, the unity part, and I'm coming straight to how expensive things are. Because if you look at there's one of the headlines I read talked about how the presidency is stating how now it's on the Guardian newspaper, says presidency faults New York Times reports, blames dead economy for hardship. And then another paper I read talked about the presidency saying that the hardship actually came from, I'm going to find it, the hardship actually came from the formal administration. They stated how, that's on the Nigerian Tribune, says Buhari spent $1.5 billion monthly to defend the naira and borrowed massively to cover costs coming from the presidency. And I'm wondering, why is it coming from the presidency? Is it not feeding from the same pot?
You know, the greatest failure of leadership is when you choose to use propaganda blame game to to shelve the obvious, to neutralize the force behind the obvious. Now, first of all, President Tinubu, in his message to Nigerians during this celebration, was of the view that Nigerians need to sacrifice more.
Right.
Now, who can accept that? Although, you know, this type of messages is annual rituals, and that leaders feel that we must say something. So they
all right.
not.
Let's quickly take this call before we allow you go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Raimi from Abuja.
Raimi calling us from Abuja. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning and happy Salah to our Muslim brothers and sisters.
Thank you so much. Happy Salah to you too, Raimi.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Obadiah.
Thank you. Good morning and happy Salah too.
Thank you. Truly appreciate your contribution. The point you just brought in, just go in line with the headline you are tweeting. Everybody is trying to provide solution to our challenges. These challenges have been there. Even the solution they are trying to bring in, we all know the solution. But the implementation has been the issue. Let me quickly give you a scenario. I met my father to be a very kind person. He doesn't celebrate any festival because he's part of it. He celebrates all festivals because he believes there are human beings that need help. And in my house, in my father's house, people do come in and eat in every festival, including the traditional festivals. Whereas we are all Christians. So, like the scenario you just painted from your experience in Lagos, it has been like that even with us at the Middle Belt. But suddenly, things changed because the people we call our leaders come in and begin to tell us some people are more important than the others. So when you now see yourself that somebody whom you are helping, another person is telling you that that person you are helping is more superior than you, is more Nigerian than you. So the best way for you now is to relax and eat what you can afford. Let your superior also do what they can do. This is the clear situation of Nigeria. When you talk of who is more Nigerian today, which is not supposed to be the question, but it has become the question in the table. Everybody now look at, oh, what do they take me to be? Am I as important as them? Can I help them? No. So everybody relax. Even the so-called government, Tinubu came and told us that he will continue from where Buhari stopped, and now he wants us to listen to his complaint. How can we listen to his complaint?
All right.
There is no excuse Tinubu would bring that will make any sense to Nigerians. The only thing I will advise Nigerians is that let's work for ourselves. Let's stabilize ourselves. The crop of this government, by God's grace, they will go and they will diminish completely. Because there is no way we can change them.
All right.
They are so rooted in that corruption that we cannot even influence their decision. They just stick to whatever they choose to do. God will definitely help us.
Amen. Thank you so much, Raimi, calling us from Abuja. Your call is very well appreciated. Please go ahead with your thought.
For a president who have watched an 8 years of excruciating pain, and then the impact of brutal and rude removal of the subsidy, to ask his subject to sacrifice the more, at a time when millions of Nigerians are cooking their rice without tomatoes, at a time when millions of Muslims are celebrating their Salah with a ram that's supposed to be for a family, but now through contribution is going to be shared among 10-20 families, so that they will be able to get a ram for their celebration. a president is asking Nigerians to sacrifice the more at a time when they cannot travel freely to wherever they want to go and look for greener pasture. And sorry, he's asking this at a time the farmers cannot go to the farm. Of course, the other one is also asking that we should farm the more, whereas it was under his watch that farmers retreated. They stopped farming because he couldn't do anything during his time to make sure that farmer and farming receive a boost, security, and they would make adequate return for their labor. Rather, under his watch, farmers were rewarded by brutal killings, displacement from their original places of abode, and then, of course, terrorized to the extent that they can no longer consider going to farm as an option. Now, it does, for me, appears that these people did not even realize the harm they have caused and what they should be doing to ameliorate the harm. And the president is saying you should sacrifice them all. That means if they're going to pay you 60,000 and it cannot buy your family a meal for 1 week, you should please bear in the other 3 weeks. Your family can afford to bear in the other 3 weeks. We must come to see the reality. The leadership we represent has cost Nigeria and Nigerians. We must come to own up that which we caused, the pain that we caused. It is only by so doing that we develop the empathy, enough courage to confront the issues at stake, not by refuting the well-researched article of a United States-based international magazine. No.
Let's quickly take this call and then see what he's saying. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Nathaniel Omoni Ako. I'm calling from Kaduna State.
Nathaniel from Kaduna State. How is Kaduna this morning?
We are blessing God. We are thanking God for everything.
Most definitely. Go ahead, please.
I'm trying to let you know that this government are trying their best, and we should surely put everything in God's hand, and God will surely intervene. Because Americans too, they always pray for their country, and we too, we need prayer. If everything is spoiling, it's prayer that will make it to be possible, and we need the possibility of prayer to make everything work out.
All right.
Nigeria is for all of us, and togetherness we shall make the race of this country.
That's definitely.
And we believe that this country is going to be a better place for us in the near future. Even now. And we should pray for our president and pray for our leaders. God should lead them and direct their feet and direct their footsteps.
All right.
Nigeria is going to be a better place for staying.
Amen.
We are thanking God for the Eid Molud, that everything go fine in Kaduna. It's not like before again, that the government will be making things hard for us to do. But now we know that security is by all of us. All of us have to take the security in our hands. Secure your own site and secure your own places. Not that we'll be waiting for one government to come and do things for us. We should do things right for ourselves. Nigeria will be a better place for us to stay.
All right. Thank you so much, Nathaniel.
Thank
you so much. Your contribution is well taken. Now, Nathaniel says that we should pray. That is only by prayer that we can achieve what we want to achieve. And I agree. Even the Bible says we should pray. But we should also watch. We should also take action. Faith without work is dead.
You see, the truth is that we have been praying for this country. I, in particular, I think I've spent more than 30 years in making sure that no day passes without intercession for this country and the leaders. At a stage, we even had what we call Pray for Kings project. You know, most of us have had very bitter experience growing up and trying to find our level in this country. I thank God that he's saying these things about Kaduna. Kaduna is so dear to my heart because that's where I cut my teeth as a media practitioner. And it was by this type of violent lifestyle that made me to abruptly left Kaduna. And during the last 8 years, Kaduna has not slept with their two eyes closed. It has become the epicenter of insecurity. So our brother Nathaniel, calling from Kaduna, I quite share your view, your thoughts on how to heal this nation. Prayer is just one part that has been ongoing. I also believe that a new orientation is required. The way we view our country is actually we are not being fair to the country. No matter from which perspective that you are coming from, you may be one that has 50 years of pains that was caused you either by the leadership or by the political change of the nation, and then it made you to become your group to become a slave, and then you also may be one that has been enduring the resources that comes from your backyard, which has destroyed your environment. You can't farm again the way your fathers, your forebears used to farm, because someone is extracting oil from your land, and at the same time is destroying the aquatic life of that place and the farmlands. And this destruction goes on without remediation that is appropriate to ameliorate the pains and the problems of the people living around there. Now, when you look at all this and see the way it's affecting you, your economy, your family life, and so on, you might become bitter about this country. You might come up with a view of secession and so on. These are not solutions. The solution is that we must begin to appreciate the country that has been called ours, no matter what bad leadership has made it to become. Right. Because if we lose here, where else do we go? Part of the problem we are suffering in this country is that we have stateless people that are roaming about this country and looking for open lands where they can call theirs. May it not happen to us. May we learn from the lesson of these rearers that are roaming around looking for Ruga where they can live because they know they are stateless. So our attitude must change. We must appreciate what we have while we fight against the forces that makes it not to be useful to us. So, right. Nathaniel, you're right.
Those are some good, really deep food for thought, Obadiah and Mbila. Let's go to the Guardian newspapers and talk about the minimum wage debate. Market realities peg ideal minimum wage pay for Nigerian workers at 104,400. And this is because of how expensive things are already in the market. The rice, bread, tomato, pepper. Some people say they don't even use tomatoes anymore. They now go for either carrots, and now carrot is expensive. So some people say they've left the carrot and decided to go for cucumbers to cook their stew. So anything that works for you, as long as it comes out as red stew, that's fine. My mom will always say, use the Igbo language, afobaitiri. The most important thing is your stomach says I'm okay. It doesn't matter the kind of what it is or the quality of what you put inside.
Someone even joked that, even brought an announcement. Nigerians, make sure you eat. After we can begin to ask whether it's balanced or
all right, so now they say the market realities has pegged the minimum wage at 104,000, but that is far above what NLC is asking. That's far above what the federal government is saying they can pay. That is way far down below what the state governments are saying they can even afford to pay. But then we saw the leaked document a few days ago that says they've decided on 105,000, but then the presidency came out to say it was a leaked document, nothing of such. What are your thoughts on this?
Let me first remind the civil servants, the public servants, that depend on their monthly salary to learn from what is happening today, that not about increment of salary, but the high rise of everything from tenants, from rent, to water bill, to electricity, to energy, and the list is, the list goes on and on. We must have a new thinking that teaches us what we can do to augment whatever that we are being paid. I can bet you, based on my own experience as a father and a grandfather, that even if the laborers are paid 200,000 in today's Nigeria, it will still not be enough, unless they don't have family members that depend on that salary, unless they don't have burdens, socioeconomic burdens that they are already bearing that needs expansion, unless they don't have social responsibility out there for their community, for their churches or mosque, as it were. So long as you have this demand and pressure on your salary, it is therefore not just about salary increase. It's about how can I approach the present day cost, the economic reality, so that I can meet up my distance. So we're focusing on salary, no matter how they increase it today, because even if let's welcome that it will be increased, but don't you know that once it is increased, other things will also increase?
Right.
Therefore, you must. That's why I'm seriously calling for new orientation. I say it anywhere, anytime. I'm supposed to be a news public affairs analyst, but I've been dipping myself deep into how can we extricate ourselves from the maze leadership has subjected us to. And I found out that we need new orientation. We must look at things differently, not allowing the forces, the negative forces, to make us see negatives and nothing positive. Life is too precious for it to be sacrificed to mundane things. Mundane demand will continue, and we will continue to see how to meet up with whatever demand that life places on us. It is a world of contrast. If you go to where we say the economy is working, they have their own peculiar challenges,
right,
and they are confronting it. We as Nigerians must also learn to confront ours. But you see, everything again point to leadership, because the leadership must show the way. When we don't have a leadership that is facing their reality, but they are churning out propaganda to cover their weaknesses and inadequacies and their ineffectiveness. They are trying to make sure that they become so protective that they do no longer consider the reality that is our economy, the reality that is our politics, the reality that is our society, the society we found ourselves because of what we do or what we fail to do.
But then, sorry, I had a body in there, Obadiah and Mbila. If you talked about leadership, the deficit of leadership in Nigeria, we've been hearing that the leadership problem, or the problem of leadership in Nigeria, for way too long. I remember Chinua Achebe of blessed memory, we always talk about leadership deficits, even since his own time up until 2024. Why are we still having the gap between the citizen and the
it is so clear. It is so clear. You see, we have had more military rulers than civilian rule. We have become so accustomed to the regimental method of the military that, unfortunately, even though we practice democracy, we have not found leaders that will lead to the new lifestyle of democracy. Take, for instance, the same thing that the military were doing when they were here. Our leaders, our political leaders, the so-called democratic leaders, appears to have bought the entire practice wholesale, and they are implementing it democratically, so to speak. So we need a new orientation for ourselves. We should also learn from, sorry to bring this to this level, but that is what it is. When the Igbos came out from the war, it dawned on them within the first 10 years that the leadership of the nation, they call theirs, has remained hostile, and there's a new Cold War that is confronting them. They turned their back against political pursuit. They began to pursue with their whole heart trading, industry, and so on and so forth. That means they had to devise a way of fending for themselves, because looking up to the leaders, they will be disappointed. Today, maybe after 54 years, they are better than those who were looking up to leadership. So, yes, we must devise a way of surviving the bad leadership. And that is when we will now empower ourselves to confront the leadership that is suppressing Nigerians.
All right, let's move straight to other stories this morning. Nigerian Tribune says direct AGF to discontinue Nnamdi Kanu's prosecution. Edwin Clark tells Tinubu. And the writer to that story says wants carrot and stick approach adopted on IPOB. That's one on the side. Two questions I'm going to ask, and I'd like to take them in one breath. That's one. And then the next one talks about Pandef to Tinubu. Tell Nigerians why you removed Arase as PSC chairman. What exactly do you think is happening?
Oh my
here?
God. I cried when Arase, one of the most intellectual core, one of the best brain, one of the most detribalized police officer, removed as the chair of Nigerian Police Service Commission. I cried, I shedded tears. Where are we going to? This is a man that does not know who sucks his God. He wants to do the right thing at the right time, even by risking himself, his reputation, and so on. And my investigation just showed me that the way Arase was handling recruitment doesn't go down well with the so-called owners of Nigeria. But this man, they removed, they will live to regret. Because usually in a generation, people like Arase are very scarce. And once you find them, utilize them, optimize their value, help them to succeed. Instead of helping Arase to bring a new police system, they want to depend on what the IG, those that have become used to the politicking that is ongoing in the police force, they want them to continue to dictate where the border should be. No, it was unless they come up with one corruption charge against him, which I doubt, and which Nigerians will doubt. Okay, so there are Nigerians that are watching us, viewers that are watching us right now, who do not understand, because I hear you say the way that Arase handled recruitment, and that it was far better than what we had before his time. So for those who do not understand, kindly help us. You see, break it down. You see, anytime you see there's need for football to be played, Nigerian Super Eagles to play, the coach usually is not allowed to do what we'll call his bid, what he think this is the squad that will work for me. By the time he's settled down to select his squad, you see influences, forces start coming. Put Annabel's brother there, he must play. I said no, it can't fit into the pig, where into the part that I require now. So put him. Or put this person as number 10. Put him. And here are the people that determines your fate, whether you remain here or not. By the time they finish confusing you, you no longer know the right decision to take that will not earn you a sack. This is what Arase has been facing ever since he emerged as the chairman of Police Service Commission. There are interest groups that wants their brother to be in that recruitment, and you say, no, I have had sufficient number representing the North Central. I'm looking for Northeast. You see people that will come to say it cannot work that way. I don't know, because it should have been their position to tell us what Arase did. But I know it must be his effort to make sure that the lopsided way of recruitment should not continue. And the fact that you know, there is a very serious allegation that Buhari government did not even clear themselves from before they left. There's an allegation that those terrorists, they call Boko Haram and so on, has been recruited into the military and also into the police. So how would I find something that is incriminating against a recruit, and then I'm the chairman of Police Service Commission, and then I go ahead and recruit that to the detriment of Nigerian society?
All right, let's quickly touch on the last topic I raised. Nnamdi Kanu, direct AGF to discontinue Nnamdi Kanu's prosecution. Edwin Clark tells Tinubu, and then asks for carrot and stick approach on IPOB.
Well, the reason why it's difficult for me always to comment on Nnamdi Kanu is because from day one, I had always told government, those of them that are listening to us in our public discourses, that you don't beat a child and at the same time cover his mouth from crying. If Nnamdi Kanu felt that he has been beaten and his people have been beaten, nobody is shouting and crying, and then he rise up to do it, and you feel that this is worse than those that are kidnapping your people and demanding ransom from government, and government has been paying huge billions of naira has gone out in the last 8 years in the payment of ransom. They prefer to give them freedom than one whom you would have pacified if you know what leadership is all about, and knew that what he's asking has some grounds of legitimacy. But they choose to silence Nnamdi Kanu. He's lucky to be alive up to today, because attempt has been made to silence him and he survived it. Now you brought him to Nigeria from Kenya, and you can't prosecute him because the law is saying that you don't have right to prosecute him based on the way you brought him, you kidnapped him. He is the one that's supposed to be asking for.
Did you just say kidnapped?
Eh?
Did you just call it kidnap?
Is it not a kidnap? It's a kidnap. It's official kidnap. You know, Nigeria has tried it during the Shagare, the post-Shagare time, under I think it's the same Buhari. It was Buhari. Yes, it was Buhari. I think it was Buhari or Babangida that kidnapped Umaru Diko from UK, where he has fled. They boxed him into a container and was about to set a sailing from UK when suddenly it was dictated. And by the time the container was opened, here was Umaru Diko inside it. Government involving itself in criminality. That tell us how Nnamdi Kanu was arrested from Kenya. They can't, because they know that the same criminality that was on, if not Babangida, it was Buhari that actually kidnapped Umaru Diko. The same way they kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu and brought him here. They can't prosecute him. And thank you, Papa Edwin Clark. What he is asking now is that let's look for a political solution, because only on political ground that you can release Nnamdi Kanu. You cannot prosecute him in any court of competent jurisdiction all throughout the whole world, not just in Nigeria. There is no court that's going to accept Nnamdi Kanu as an accused, a kidnapped accused. No. It's not done.
All right. Know. Obadiah Mbila, CEO, Lovewalk Media. It is always a pleasure having this discussion with you every Monday morning.
Thank you. It's always my pleasure to remain part of this KAFTAN family.
Right.
Well done.
Likewise. All right, viewers, that's where we end this segment of the show. We've been chatting with Obadiah Mbila, who happens to be the chairman of Lovewalk Media, and it is always a pleasure having these conversations every Monday morning with him. Now let's go straight to our social media corner to see what exactly trended, the videos that trended, because yesterday was Father's Day. So we'll take a lot of videos from Father's Day celebration, and there's a video of one is a video of a father who is receiving money from his son, and got a lot of people talking, saying that you should ask your son, where exactly are you getting this money from? If he's not working, if he's a yahoo boy and you are proud to collect money from him, I wonder the kind of father that you are. Then on the flip side, we also have a video of a father who was giving us some very good leg walk, very good leg dance or steps. You just want to see it. It's not something I have to tell you about, so you need to see it. And then the last video is about old love. Let's see those videos.
I fit tell you hello, make a this sad. Caution will you fuck with behind a fixed smile. Enemy they IGFB and FaceTime. Me by 4-7 times, I go rise 8 times. So many matter happen, it make me confused. I fit tell you hello, make a this sad. Caution will you fuck with behind a fixed smile. Enemy they IGFB and FaceTime. Me by 4-7 times, I go rise 8 times. So many matter happen, it make me confused.
All right, I love that last video. Really, it's really brought very good feeling around me. Old people enjoying themselves and they're wearing their old uncle going to church. I love to see things like that. But these days, so much divorces. It's really pathetic. All right, my next video is a lady who was dancing in a club, and when her father saw it on social media, you need to see the outcome or the aftermath of that video. Then we'll take another one of someone who was stealing egg from the window. Plenty of things are happening. Please see that.
But you hate me. Now my life is sweet like cinnamon. Like a fucking dream I'm living in. No, but you hate me. Now my life is sweet like cinnamon. Like a fucking dream I'm living in. No, but you
Okay, so I don't want to talk about this alone, Obadiah Mbila. I have to bring you on for this matter because two things. The first one is someone who was stealing egg from another person's window. Have we really gotten that bad? And then the other one is the lady who she was dancing. I don't want to call her a stripper, but at least she was having fun in a nightclub, and she believed that her father, what does he have to do with social media? How would he even see it? But then she posted it on social media, and the father was able to come across the video, and the next day she had all that bruises because the father beat her to he beat her silly. I saw the social media comments, a lot of people saying that this is the father of the year. Some people say that this father is the kind of, if we have fathers like this, then people will have their senses their senses will be correct. And then some other persons were lambasting, saying that is abuse, that's an abuse. And what do you say to this? Okay, let me rephrase the question, Obadiah Mbila. Let me put it on the spot. If you come across such video of your daughter on social media, how would you react?
Two different ways.
Okay.
One, I will be asking myself, what did I do or did not do that brought this type of lifestyle to this girl? Is it a lapse from my side or not? The other question is, what do I do to stop her from her track. The last question may probably have been the reason why that father brutalized her the way it is. By the way, sometimes when I see some of these videos, I ask myself, I hope no one is doing a skit that he wants to receive more likes and
Followers,
you know, and provided it's real, fine. The father has taken just one action. The question is his action capable of stopping that girl from further living in that, following that trend. In hundreds of this type of action, I can tell you that 90 became even worse because they now devise a means of doing what they love to do in such a way that you will not get at them. Some can even leave the house, and you will be the father that will be looking out for where to get your daughter, and she must have gone far. So
what is the best way for this?
I don't think brutalizing the person is the best way, because the circumstance has already occurred. I must look for how love can show her the way. Love by the way. You remember the story of the prodigal son coming back to meet the father. The best thing the father would have done is to follow this method by beating her. You coming back to my house, it can never happen. You can't enter here. The father spoiled him with love, that if you ask him again to take that course, he would not accept it, no matter the appeal. Why? Because he knows he has a home that can protect and offer him all that he was looking for outside. But if the father had, on the other hand, followed this way, which will be applauded by many though, but they don't see the counterproductivity of that action. That's the same way that Jesus taught us that him that is forgiven much loves much. The harlot that was pouring alabaster on it, like, so you say Jesus is a right man. If he's really a prophet that he claims to be, you know that that woman is a harlot, and should not even touch him in the first place. And then the oil can be sold to bless poor people. He said, why are you people troubling this woman? We must show love.
All right. Thank you so much, Obadiah and Mbila. And that is where we end this segment, or this edition of the press. I'm always used to the conversation of the press. Thank you so much, and I'm sure you must have rightly been entertained, educated, and informed, especially with that advice that he gave. And that's us again wishing you all happy Father's celebration and happy Salah, Eid-el-Maulud to all of our Muslim brothers and sisters. See you again tomorrow. Good morning.